Chapter 6. Game Not Religion.
Teresa made a sign of the cross, as she said quietly and nervously,
The all sounds like God to me.
The all is known by many names, as you would know, Teresa.
He replied kindly.
Such as God, Allah, Jehovah, the universe, the infinite mind, and many more. And yet none are incorrect or would offend the Creator, not that the Creator could ever be offended. All these names refer to the one and only infinite being. That is the energy and essence of pure love, magnificence in creation. There is only one Creator, who we call by many names. I prefer to use the name the All, as the Kabbalion does, because some of those other titles have been ridiculously slandered by characteristics of anger, revenge, and a constant need to be praised being attached to them. Those are only emotions that humans experience through fear, and as we know, the All vibrates with the highest energy of all, which we call pure love. So it is utter foolishness to think that those negative characteristics are representative of the greatest being of all. The All is the essence of pure love, and the essence of pure love has no expectations or judgment, as the All is the All. I know right now that there are many thousands of people who are reading this book and watching the movie that are now saying to themselves, "Oh no, don't tell me he is about to preach all this religious stuff, because I don't want to know. There is no way you are going to convert me. I've seen what religion does. People kill for religion, wars are fought over religion, people hate through religion, so count me out. If this is what you are preaching, then I am with Lotus. Highlight my name in your book and hit delete."
Once again the world was divided, as those who believed, I'd off those who didn't believe, and then I'd off those who believed different to what they believed.
Before I delete you all,
Storyteller said with a twinkle in his eye.
You are the reason this book has been created. Our world is facing imminent danger, and unless we can free our minds to understand life in a different way with a new perspective, then we will all face the consequences of our ignorance. My words are not ones to bind you to any religion, but to ask you to join me in a movement of freedom, love, and respect for our earth and for each other. A freedom to create and think for yourself without any limitations imposed by any religion or philosophy.
You sound like my grandparents,
said Fempower cheekily.
Will you have us all wearing flowers in our hair?
I'll be in that.
Laughed Game Changer.
Because didn't they all believe in free love? And I could do with a bit of that in my life right now.
Couldn't we all?
Agreed Storyteller, and then everyone laughed because everyone felt the same, including the hundreds of thousands of viewers and readers who shouted yes. And once again laughter was uniting the world as one. The sharing of love was still an incredible urge. Storyteller waited until the laughter died down before looking at the team and then outside of them as he said,
I understand that for many others, my words are challenging some of your deepest beliefs, and I do not, for one instance, disrespect the beautiful teachings of the great masters, messengers, and founders of all your religions and philosophies. But unfortunately, their wisdom has been buried in man's misinterpretations and theology. This inevitably disempowers your lives, so that you cannot fully realize the absolute joy of living with the power of freedom, to create for yourselves lives of limitless abundance.
He paused for a moment and then said,
Stop thinking should I or shouldn't I, because it isn't necessary, because the All wants to experience the whole magical spectrum of life through us, and if that means making mistakes, then so be it. Because, in reality, there are no such things as mistakes. Wouldn't you all like to be able to live your lives doing exactly what you want, with no gauges of what is right or wrong, just the freedom of your spirit to soar to wherever you want to be, living your desires, your aspirations and dreams, with joy and unlimited happiness? Would this be desirable to you?
And they all heard the world shout back yes. Arif looked at Teresa, and he could see she was looking worried, which he completely understood. He had felt exactly the same way when he had first heard the story, so he reached across to her and held her hand gently, saying,
There is nothing to be afraid of, Teresa. You will soon understand what he is saying to be the truth.
Storyteller looked at him with approval and continued,
Who we know as spiritual masters are actually the masters of the greatest game of all, for they have reached and accomplished high levels in the game of life. They taught us that we are all on the path back to the source of creation, and endeavored to teach us the best ways to play the game, to avoid the pitfalls, and to strive to reach our greatest potential. They had all chosen for their lives to be teachers and messengers of the All, even though they knew that there would be dire consequences for many of them. And as we all know, Crucifixion was one of those consequences. You may be surprised to know that Jesus had manifested his crucifixion as part of his story, using the power of creation that the all had given to him, and I might add, which has been given to every person who has ever lived, or is living, or is about to. As masters of life, they were always conscious of knowing who they were and who they wanted to be, and they showed great mystical and magical power using their minds. These were primitive times when people lived violently, and it was deemed wise by scribes and religious leaders to add the so-called wrath of God to the scriptures, to scare people into living more peacefully and stop them worshiping their idols. To burn in hell forever would be their punishment if they did not obey. The other very important reason why it was deemed necessary by religious leaders to make the Creator out to be a vengeful God was simply to wield power over the masses. Their sermon was to obey or be damned, and still is today. This book is to rectify the damage that is being caused within our world today by the greatest misrepresentation of the all being a God of judgment. Do not blame the religious teachers, because their knowledge is one that has been passed down over centuries and has now become their own belief. The Kybalion states that when teachers become priests and mix theology with philosophy, the truth of the ancient creed becomes buried beneath religious superstition. The esteemed masters of the game of life, or the illumined ones as some call them, which is an appropriate name, because they are all appearing before me now as an example to us all. They are illuminated as one magnificent light, not as different faiths, beliefs, philosophies, and religions, but as one knowledge, the truth. Listen once again to their sermons and words of wisdom, and with the knowledge you have now, understand the truth of what they were saying, that there exists only one God, and that we are all as one. The all does not judge, but only observes as it understands its magnificence through us. We are not limited in what we do, as our choices are ours to make. None are judged as right or wrong, because we are just doing what the all wants us to do, and that is to live the full spectrum of life, experimenting and experiencing as we go along. There are no punishments, and death should not scare us as we live eternally, because our spirit is the all living within the mind of the all. We are forever reincarnating to experience the joy of living through many bodies, and at different times, we come back as different nationalities as well as genders, often following a different religion to the one that we experienced in a previous life, for how can we truly know how another feels? Until we walk in that person's shoes.
Oh my,
said Lotus.
So all this fighting between our beliefs and religions is pointless, because eventually we experience them all, and what we may have fought and killed for in one life, we may be fighting and killing against in the next. Our allies become our enemies, and our enemies then become our allies. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly.
He replied softly.
Because you will soon come to know that when we hurt one another, we hurt ourselves, and ultimately we hurt us all, because we are one.
Fempower quickly jumped in, asking vehemently,
Are you saying that we may come back as a man or a woman? And if that is the case, how come there is so much inequality between the sexes?
Storyteller replied, in a compassionate voice.
The very same religious leaders who wanted to control people through creating a fear of God also managed to manipulate teaching so that God made women subservient to men. Strangely enough, all these religious leaders of that time were men.
They all laughed as this message sunk in, except for Fempower, who then asked forcefully,
If that is the case, then why didn't women who had been mistreated and abused in past lives do something about this inequality when they came back as men?
They didn't remember.
He simply replied.
And sometimes in their new life, they actually became the perpetrators of violence or mental abuse against a woman.
How could that happen?
She asked disbelievingly.
Fear, when carried through into another life, can make us become the instigator instead of the victim of violence. Ask yourself, why do some children who have watched in horror their mother being physically abused throughout their childhood become violent against their own wives when they grow up? Fear is the enemy of our lives and plays an important role in the game you are currently competing in, and very much so in the greatest game of all. You are so important to our story, Fempower, because you help us recognize a gross injustice, and in so doing we all start to remember who we are and who we want to be. The more advanced societies than ours have outgrown their religions and tribal identities by understanding who they are and who they want to be. Men and women enjoy complete equality because they know that within the combination of both lies their greatest power. By overcoming fear, they have advanced to a much higher level than ourselves in the greatest game of all, and many of you would see their civilizations as ones of living in the kingdom of heaven, nirvana or paradise in total peace and tranquility.
Arif looked at the others to see their reactions, and Zotan was the first to respond.
Are you saying that there are more civilizations than ours?
He asked with excitement in his voice.
Countless.
Was the reply.
There are millions of universes that contain life at all different levels, that are playing the greatest game of all. Some are lower, many are much higher, and some so high that the beings are like as gods to us, which one day we will evolve to.
The questions came thick and fast, and Storyteller said,
I will answer them all in good time, but surely you don't think that in the vastness of all the universes, the only life existing would be us. Over millions of years, civilizations have come and gone, stars have formed and burned out, but it is our Earth now being threatened, and the only ones who can save it are you and the millions of people who will read this book and watch the movie.
How can we save our world, they asked, and their question was so loud that it seemed to come not just from them, but from all corners of the world.
We must jump a level in the greatest game of all,
was his reply.
Which is no easy task, because we have been stuck on the same level for thousands upon thousands of years.
What will happen if we don't jump a level? They asked worriedly, and Storyteller with deep concern said,
We are facing two pathway dilemmas, which to overcome we need the cooperation of all people from all nations and faiths to play the game together. As I said, this is no easy task, but the consequences we face are either our planet dying slowly and painfully from global warming, or our planet being blown to pieces, because fear and ego were greater than common sense.
Why doesn't God stop it?
Teresa asked anxiously, and he replied,
The All would never interfere directly with our lives, because the Creator has given us freedom to make our own choices, and therefore will never make judgments, and only observes what we are doing.
But this is a serious situation.
She said.
Surely God would not let us destroy his creation.
Storyteller replied passionately.
So many people throughout time have asked similar questions, Teresa, generally at times of their greatest need, such as losing a loved one, or when a natural disaster takes so many lives, or when millions die needlessly in a war. They cried out for God, and there was no answer, because God had already answered by living within us and giving us the freedom to choose our own directions in life without interference or judgment. In the greatest game of all, we create our own realities, and the threats we face now are of our own making and must be resolved by ourselves or not at all. We must stop looking for answers from above and start finding them from within, because that is where we find the power of the all. If we just remember that we are in a game, we have the power to change our perceptions of reality at any time. This is what we must all do to jump a level in the game of life. So, just keep saying out loud, remember, remember.
And the team started chanting, remember, remember, and they were joined by hundreds of thousands of cinema-goers and book readers around the world chanting, remember, remember, and it kept growing until millions of people felt an awakening within their souls, and once again there was unison and connection between all.
Oh my, can we do it?
Asked Arif, and the people said yes, and Storyteller asked again.
Did I hear you say yes?
And a strong united voice from the multitudes all over the world echoed back yes. The team not only felt the power that was being created through this book, but also a connection with the movie audiences and readers, who were now as much a part of this book as they were. Forever the analyst, Zotan asked.
I know we can achieve this, but if the Earth is destroyed, do we reincarnate again?
Yes, we do. But the cycle of evolution would have to start all over again.
Was the reply.
Not so good.
Replied Zotan.
No.
Confirmed Storyteller.
We are the caretakers of Earth, as recognized by many of our older and wiser indigenous races. It is our responsibility to protect the sky, the trees, the rivers, the oceans, the mountains, the deserts, the plants, and all living creatures, big and small.
Once everyone had quietened down and all eyes were focused on him, Storyteller said.
The key to achieving this is to take responsibility and understand that only by uniting as one can we progress to the higher levels in the greatest game of all.
He then looked fondly at the team and asked,
So, are you all in this?
And they replied with a passionate yes, and he looked outside of them, and he said to the multitudes,
Shall we create a paradise here on Earth?
And they shouted back yes.
A kingdom of heaven on Earth?
Yes, was their excited loud reply.
Nirvana?
They answered once again yes, and they laughed and they cried, and they hugged each other, because they knew that this was a new beginning for their world.